Hey guys, and welcome back to another Chinamen podcast episode. Today we'll be starting off some IPL content. So we'll be going through our predicted lineups for CSK, Delhi, Kings 11, and KKR. So we'll be discussing what we think they should play, as well as just some general issues the teams face, and wrapping it up with a prediction of where they'll finish. So I guess we can start off with Chennai. So who do you guys think should open the batting for Chennai?
I think this is a fairly clear one for me. I've gone for Shane Watson, who I think should still start. Even though they've got so many internationals that are vying for spots at Chennai, I still think Watson's got to be in the team. He's been so good for them for so long. I've gone for Rayudu as well. I think he's very likely going to be the opener for Chennai with Watson this year.
Interesting. Yeah, Ryan.
Yeah, I was gonna go Watson, Duplessis, but I've got Raidu at 3. Oh, okay. So yeah,
big spoiler there, Ryan.
Yeah, I've also gone with Faf Duplessis. I think he's a solid choice for them, and I don't think they need other international players that are down the order. I think the best option would be for them to go Faf. Number 3, 4, 5. Yeah, Ambati Raidu is at number 3. I think they'll probably miss Suresh Raina. I think he's better than Raidu, and he's a left-hander. But yeah, they have to stick with him.
I don't think Raidu's actually performed right recently.
I don't know. He's just always there.
Even in IPL, like the last 1 or 2, I don't think he's had amazing performances.
I think it'll be interesting.
I think if they would go to Indian opener, they might think about Murali Vijay and then try and work from there. But okay, number 4, I think they should promote Dhoni up the order.
Yep.
So obviously he's captaining and keeping number 4 spot. I think you want him to face a lot of balls because you want him to be in the zone at the end. So obviously number 4, and then number 5, I've got Kedar Jadhav. So he's done that job for them, so I'll keep him there.
Yeah, I've changed it up a bit. Most of it's the same, but I've dropped Faf Duplessis purely because Chennai have 7 excellent international bowlers, and I think you want as many of them in the side as possible. So that's why I've gone with Rayudu. I've gone with Murali Vijay at 3. He's probably the next best batsman in the squad.
Yeah.
I don't think Faf Duplessis offers that much in T20s. He's okay, but I don't think he offers as much as the bowling would to this side. And I've also gone for Dhoni and Jadhav at 4 and 5.
I'm exactly the same as Auden. So Raidu at 3, Dhoni, and then Jadhav. Sure. I think those 3 pick themselves. They're always going to be in that Chennai team. I don't see any point where they'll get dropped.
Yeah, I agree. It's just Vijay or Duplessis for me.
Yeah.
I don't think they have many other Indian batsman options for those 3 spots.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess we could go with 6 and 7. Who you got, Ryan?
Jadeja, and controversial one. I still think Dwayne Bravo still has to be in the team.
Yeah, I agree with that. Jadeja and Bravo.
Yep. I put Bravo at 6 and Jadeja 7, but
the problem is that's a very long tail. But I guess we can get into that a bit later.
I actually think they might use Jadeja as a bit of a floater. They might put him up the order as well.
Yeah.
And Bravo, he might be a bit older, but he's still pretty good, I reckon.
Yeah, there's no question Bravo should be in the team, I think, really, for me.
I think it's realistically between Bravo and probably Sam Curran, maybe.
Yeah, and that makes the tail longer if you play Curran.
Yeah, exactly. We can move into the 4 bowlers. Will, do you want to start?
Sure. Bowlers, yeah. So I've left room for 2 more internationals. So I've gone for Imran Tahir as 1. I think he should probably be in the team. Then the question for me is Ngidi or Hazelwood. I've actually gone for Ngidi. I know people will probably expect me to say Hazelwood. I've just put Ngidi in there, even though I think they should rotate.
After Hazelwood's performances in the first 2 ODIs.
I
know it's not relevant, but still. He's getting pumped now, but still. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's a better ODI bowler than he is a T20 bowler, but he's still a very solid T20 option. I expect him to play a few games this IPL, and I want him to. I'd probably put Ngidi just there in the best 11. Then in terms of the Indian bowlers, I don't have Piyush Chawla. That's what I get from dropping Faf du Plessis. It means I only have to play Deepak Chahar and Shardul Thakur, who I think are great bowling options. And they're going with Ngidi into here.
Right.
All right. Yeah, I've gone with Chawla, Deepak Chahar, and Shardul. I think those. I guess if you think, would you rather play Murali Vijay over Chawla? And yeah, it's a tough one.
Would you rather play Ngidi over or du Plessis? Is my question.
I don't. There's so many bowling options. That's the issue. Like, what are you going to spread the overs between all those bowlers? Even when one of them could easily bowl 4 overs and be just as effective.
I don't know if Bravo will bowl that much. I think
Well,
he's
Barrow will bowl to death.
yeah, hurdle at the death a bit.
I think, like, my biggest question is, do you think Sen will play at all? I know Chennai have a lot of spinners.
Well, if it's between Santner and Tahir, I think Tahir is definitely better.
Yeah, it's totally between Santner and Tahir. There's no other reason he needs to come in when they've already got Jadeja as pretty much cemented in the side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was there ever a point where Jadeja and Sen were playing together?
I can't remember Tahir, Jadeja, and Santner ever all playing together. Maybe in really good spin pitches. They thought that might.
Yeah, but they probably play Harbhajan.
Yeah,
that's all I remember.
There is no Harbhajan this time. So.
Yeah, I've gone with the 2 Indian pacers, Thakur and Chahar, and then Chawla and Imran Tahir. I think they'll definitely go with Chawla just because it seems like such a CSK signing. It's like 36 spinner, and he's not like off spinner like Harbhajan, but I think he is good enough. I don't know if they have really other Indian bowling options, but obviously they got Hazelwood, Curran, and Santner. But
and Ngidi.
And Ngidi, yeah. So they got a lot of options there. Maybe that is a good idea to not have Faf du Plessis and bank on those like on Ngidi and Hazelwood because they're pretty good. But I think knowing Chennai, like they'd rather the experience of Faf as well.
I think Faf will have to play. Just if you look at that batting lineup, it looks pretty weak.
That's fair. Well, the other question is, can you drop Bravo then if you want to play that? If you want to, like, what's the point of having all these extra international bowlers if you're never going to play any of them? Like, will Bravo get dropped?
Well, it depends. Like, Bravo is one bowler at the death. Who's the other one that normally bowls at the death? Because Chahar normally bowls in the power play, right?
Thakur.
If they kept Faf and played Ngidi as well, would that mean they'd play like Thakur or Chawla at number 7? Like I feel like
they're dropping Bravo.
like Thakur can like slog a little bit, but
I assume so.
Yeah, you probably play Chalo at 7, I think.
Yeah.
Asia 6. Yeah.
Which is kind of long for them.
It's still a very long tail.
Yeah.
I know Jadeja's, you could almost view him as a batsman, but nevertheless.
Yeah, I think if Bravo didn't play, it'd have to be Sam Curran. Or maybe Santner at 7 as well. But I don't think they'd drop him for an out-and-out bowler.
Yeah.
Hazelwood did once hit a 200 for Tamworth.
That wasn't in the 2020 though.
No, unlikely to have been.
Yeah.
So where do we think Chennai are going to finish this season?
So I think they're a very consistent team, obviously. People doubted them in previous years and got things wrong. But I actually think that this is going to be an off year for them and they won't make top 4. I put them in 5th. Right?
I'm banking on either one of Watson, Raidu, or du Plessis making a 50+ score every match. And I've put them in 4th. So they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, we've all been pretty similar. Yeah, I think the squad's all a bit older and I know they love their experienced players. I think they'll definitely be able to win some games, probably 6 or 7, and I put them in 5th. I think they don't quite. The batting doesn't seem as strong this year. They're missing Harbhajan. There's just a few things that have dropped them down a bit. I think just fifth.
I think they just lack the explosive 2020 batsman.
They're going to really miss Reiner, I think.
Yeah,
It's going to really hurt them.
definitely for sure.
I mean, that's probably they probably weren't planning on playing Duplessis at all, but without Reiner in the side, it really hurts them because it means they can't play lots of their international bowlers if they want to solidify that batting order. It really leaves them a big problem.
Well, if we go off last year, Duplessis played pretty much every game.
That's true, but
Yeah.
Bob was a bit different last year.
I think. Well, they just mix things up then as well. I think Jadav was injured at points, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Should we move on then?
Yeah, let's go to next team.
So pretty much the only issue with Chennai we'd say is just the batting because their bowling looks really strong. So it just depends on whether they can get to. Well, we wouldn't know what the past score is, but I'm assuming 150, 160 every game.
Even when they're
They should be
good,
able to defend that.
they were like 3 for 30 or something like that, struggling. But at the end, like Dhoni or someone just pulled out something amazing.
Pretty much a lot of
This
their
team might
success
be
relies on Dhoni.
Yeah, I mean, I just wonder if Chawla is as good of a replacement as Harbhajan. Really, is a big question. Because in most worlds they probably do play Chawla, even though he's not in my team. And without Harbhajan, the three spinners don't look as good. You know, it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
That's a consistent theme for us, I guess. We'll move next alphabetically. Delhi Capitals, obviously coached by Ricky Ponting. They've got a bit of an Australian influence. I really like their team actually. I think the Indian core is very good. So starting off with the Indian core at the top of the order opening, I've got Prithvi Shaw and Shikhar Dhawan. I think they'll be a great opening pair, and even though they had Jason Roy before, I think it was pretty hard for him to crack in the team. But yeah, those are my two.
Yeah, I'm the same, Darwin and Shaw. It's a shame and it's a big waste having Marcus Stoinis in your side if you're going to have Darwin and Shaw there, but I don't see Stoinis ever opening really unless someone underperforms pretty badly or gets injured. Unfortunately, Stoinis probably won't play, but yeah, I've got Darwin and Shaw opening.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. Yeah.
I'm going to say a 3, 4, 5, Ryan.
So I've gone with Stoinis at 3.
All right.
Oh, leave that there. Shreyas at 4 and Rishabh at 5. I think Shreyas Iyer, you could put a case for him to bat at 3. Punt, I think I wouldn't want him too early. I think he's really suited to the end game. I think his power play, not power play, his death over the strike rate is right up there. And I don't know, the more he comes in and tries to play more sensible innings, I think he just gets out in stupid ways. So he's more suited down the order, so I put him at 5.
Fair enough, I guess.
Yeah, I've gone for Shreyas 3, Rishabh Pant 4. Putting Stoinis 3 is an interesting idea. I still don't trust him when he's not opening, but there is merit at putting him at 3. But yeah, Shreyas 3, Rishabh Pant 4, and then I've gone for Hetmeyer as my number 5.
Yeah, I've gone the same as well.
We can't hear you. Is something wrong with your audio?
I'm using some different methods.
Yeah, yeah, we can't hear you, bro.
I'll just try.
Oh, that's better.
So, yeah.
I'll just say again, I'm playing Shreyas Iyer at 3, Rishabh 4, and then Hetmeyer 5. You could maybe say Iyer and Pant are a bit high, but I think they're pretty consistent. And Hetmeyer, I don't know if he's got the consistency that the other two have, but I think he's definitely going to be in the side. 6 and 7. I think this is kind of their weakness for Delhi, especially because they got Carey and Stoinis, and everyone knows the problems that they have, and I think they're gonna play one of them. So I've gone with Stoinis, even though we've discussed this so many times. I feel like the way Ponting was talking about him in his preview the other day, I think they want him to play, and they might even play him as like a float. And at number 7, I've got you could probably play him or the other Axar Patel at number 7. It's my option.
Yeah, I will say I think Stoinis floating in a T20 side is just terrible. Like, you can't score fast. It's exactly what you want a floater to do. You put them in to score the big runs. Like, Stoinis has shown time and time again that he can only open or maybe bat 3. But then again, as you say, there aren't many other options. But I have gone for Carey 6 and Axar Patel as 7. I think at least Carey can sometimes score fast when he gets to the middle. Often he doesn't, but he does more often than Stoinis. So purely on that, I've gone for Carey 6.
Yeah, I've gone at Hetmeyer at 6 and Axel Patel at 7. I think, yeah, they pick themselves. That's the thing with playing Stoinis at 3. I think it gives you a bit more flexibility later on. Although you made sure balls at the start, certainly at the back end, you've got a lot of power there. Like Shreyas at 4, Punt at 5, and Hetmeyer at 6. That's you're getting a lot of runs in the death overs. If that all goes to plan, anyway.
I think that's probably arguably a better option than where I've gone. Because if Stoinis has to play, you'd want him earlier. But I think that's too low for Hetmeyer, then, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you're just cutting your losses at that point, I think. Like, you wouldn't want to put any of the other, like, you wouldn't want to put Shreyas Iyer down or Punt down lower than where they are now.
Right, fair enough. Do you think there's any chance that they play Rahane instead of Stoinis and then look for another international lower down?
Yeah, it's a good point.
I don't rate Rahane that much. A bit put off by him last year, I have to say. I mean, I think there's a
I
chance.
don't know. Stoinis would still be a much better option, surely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just depends on. Yeah, I can't remember all the internationals, so I'll pull that up.
Yeah. So yeah, I can go through my bowlers. So I've left room for 2 internationals, which is nice. So I've got Rabada and Lemashane. However you say Sandeep's name. I think they're really solid. Then Ashwin, I think, has to be there, and Ishant Sharma is my number 11.
Brian? Yeah.
I'm exactly the same.
Yeah, I've also got the same, but I'd actually be tempted to play Daniel Sams instead of Sandeep Mamichane. But I guess because it's in the UAE, it's more likely to be slower tracks, and then you want Sandeep to play.
It's out. Butler's out.
Oh, nice. Well, you could argue that XR and Ashwin are already good enough spin options. So then, and then someone at the death, because Ishant will bowl up top. Rabada, you can either bank on him at the end or at the top, but then you want Sams as well, I reckon. Then I think he'll play at some point.
Yeah, because that's a good point. Because it's just Rabada because Ishant Sharma will bowl out at the top, and so he'll bowl like 3 overs in the power play and then 1 over in the middle overs.
Yeah.
But there's no other like fast bowler to finish off the innings unless you play spinner at the end, which is.
Yeah, you said you wouldn't mind having Sams at the death in your squad. I'd actually rather have Sams there than Stoinis. I think like that Sams is a potential solution if he can just get his batting in form.
Sure. Yeah. The problem with that is that it's a longer tail.
Sams, Patel, Ashwin, they're probably all similar like quality. Like you wouldn't mind that, like, to be honest. Like you might say it's a long tail, but they could just
like you can put Ashwin 7, Sams 8 if you have to. Like it's certainly an option with Patel.
Well, they've got a lot of flexibility, so.
Yeah, totally.
I was looking at the other internationals.
Like they're a lot more flexible than Chennai.
Some people are saying Timo Paul. Or I don't know much about him, to be honest.
They've also got Nautier, don't they?
Yeah, no, I think he'll play if Rabada is injured or something.
Yeah, like he only came in as a replacement from what I remember. So I don't think he'll play much.
We've also got Mishra as another spin option. I remember last year we were discussing because he played over Lamachane. We thought that was debatable.
It's odd though, isn't he?
Yeah.
Mm. I don't think you should play over Lamashane because, I mean, unless they really feel the need to get all the other internationals into their side, which they really don't need to. Like, and who's that desperate to play Stoinis and Carey in the middle order? Like, it's
I
just,
think if anyone's desperate, it'd be Ricky Ponting.
well, yeah. Or maybe you've got a desperate need. You really want Daniel Sams in your 11, but no, I don't. I think you'd stick with Lamashane for now. I do think Lamashane is a bit overrated, but he's still solid enough.
I don't even remember how he went in Big Bash. Like, he wasn't that great, really.
He honestly didn't do much.
Yeah.
It was the
Well, he
second.
was really overhyped in his first season because, like, his celebrations and stuff. Nepalese player.
He's certainly good for a Nepalese player.
Yeah.
So, Ryan, where do you think Delhi are going to finish this year?
I reckon they'll make playoffs. And I'm debating whether to put them second or third. And I'm going to go third.
Yeah, I really like the team. I think they have most of the tools to succeed. Maybe at the death with the bat a little bit is a problem, but I think they might figure it out. And I've got them coming second.
Yep, sounds like our predictions are really similar today. Yeah, I think they're batting strong enough. There's times their bowling might let them down a bit, but it's certainly solid enough. I've got them in third.
That's very interesting that we're all pretty similar.
Yeah.
Well, this could be one team that could go either way for us. Kings 11 Punjab. Obviously, new captain KO Rahul. A player that's discussed so often in Indian cricket. I think so. Just to start off, I've got KO opening, and I think they have a big choice to make here. If a certain universe boss plays, but I've actually gone with Mayank Agarwal. I'll save that international spot for someone else.
Yeah, it's certainly an incredibly tough decision. But I genuinely do think Mayank Agarwal is good enough that they don't need to play Gale and they can afford to get the international from elsewhere, you know, which they need because without the internationals, the bowling certainly doesn't look very strong. So even if we think Gale's playing better than Agarwal, which may or may not be true, I think you take him out and you just back your middle order. You could play Agarwal at 3 or something like that, but I think you back your middle order like it is, and you've got to have to drop Gale.
I'm exactly the same. I've got Rahul and Agarwal. It just makes more sense.
Yeah.
Even in the last 2 years, Gale and Rahul was a pretty good combination at times. But yeah, I think they will probably go Agarwal. 3, 4, 5. Anyone want to go?
Sure. I think obviously the one in there you got Glenn Maxwell is going to be floating. I put him at 4 for now. I've gone for Poran, Nicholas Poran at 3. Got Maxwell at 4, but he could really bat anywhere. And Carol Nair I've gone for at 5.
All right.
Yep, I've got the exact same 3, 4, 5.
I've gone with Maxwell and Puran. I really like Puran. I think he's a pretty good player. He's shown it last year a little bit, and also against India, the West Indies. I haven't gone with Karan Nair. I've gone with Sarfaraz Khan. I think it's a toss-up between the two. They're both like average players, but I prefer Khan because left-handed option. And I like the way he plays. The
Apparently, he had a really good domestic season, so it's probably not a bad
I
one.
think he was good, but that was in first class. So
Okay.
For me, it really depends when they come in. I think I'd rather have Karan Nair coming in the second half of the innings. I think he's better at scoring fast, but Sarfaraz Khan is probably better at making runs in the top 4, which they certainly might need at times. So I guess it really depends how reliable the top 3 are going to be and where you're playing Maxwell as to which one of those you play for me.
All right. I'll go into my 6 and 7. I think from now on, from this point onwards, they have a lot of different ideas they could play with. I've made a tough decision. I wanted to play Nisham. Like I think he's a solid player, but I haven't. I've gone with two Indian players, Mandeep Singh and Krishna Gautam. I think Krishna Gautam's a pretty solid player. He's good at Rajasthan at times. He's okay with the bat, good with the ball, and that's number 6 spot. It could be a bit of a problem for them, but I think Mandeep's okay. So those are my two options.
Yeah, for my number 6, I've gone with Deepak Hooda. Like it's one of those things where number 6 is definitely an issue for them. So I could have easily gone with Mandeep Singh there, but I don't know. I think based off what I saw last year with Hooda, I thought he was okay. I think he played for Hyderabad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I put him at 6, and then I've got Gautam at 7. I think that's spin option, and apparently can hit as well. So it's not a bad. Well,
Yeah, I'm the same. I think Hooda's inconsistent, but he's good enough as a number 6, and he can score fast when he needs to. And I've also gone for Gotham, my Rajasthan boy at 7.
Yeah.
Sad he's left. I think he was great last year, actually. Although I think he's really good.
I was surprised Rajasthan let him go, to be honest.
Yeah, same. So yeah, it's certainly a shaky middle order. You really got to back those big 4 batsmen at the beginning, and that is where you can make the argument for Gale. But the problem is then the bowling looks shaky if you play Gale. So it's
And also, like, you wouldn't be surprised if Maxwell got out early, Puran got out early, and then they're in like a lot of trouble. So it's tough for them. Into the
I think
bowlers.
one of KL Rahul or Mayank Agarwal have to bat at least 8 or 9 of the 20 overs.
Make that, considering the form Rahul's in the last 18 months or so.
yeah. So bowlers. For me, I think their main star bowler, considering the way they were bidding for him, has to be Chris Jordan. They decided Maxwell and Jordan are two they're going to go after, and then for no matter the price really. So Chris Jordan led the attack. Muhammad Shami as well, very solid bowler. We've got room for one more international, so you can actually play Mujeeb Ur Rahman now. That's instead of Gale, basically. And then Ravi Bishnoi. I think there's lots of options for that other Indian bowler. I've gone for Ravi Bishnoi, but there's a few you could go for there as well.
I've gone exactly the same.
Yep, same.
Yeah. It's between Jordan and Sheldon Cottrell.
Yeah.
I think Jordan's a way better death bowler. Cottrell's better at the start.
Yeah.
So, but Mujeeb is probably going to bowl in the power play.
I think Mujeeb had a great CPL. He wasn't great last year, to be fair. Like, I think he had one of the worst figures ever. But I think in the UAE he could be a solid player. And then they have a load of like okay fast bowlers, but I think Bishnoi is a good player. He looks very good in the Under-19 World Cup.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's times they want to drop Mujeeb for Cottrell, I think, especially Mujeeb isn't playing that well. Considering you can have Maxwell bowling as that second spin option, so
Sure.
that could also be a rotation that happens. But I think Mujeeb's probably in their best 11.
Yep.
I'm not sure if they have any other international players that just Gale, Nisham, Cottrell.
Yeah, I don't see my niche man playing much as I love his Twitter account. To the team. No, there certainly is merit in having that. He does solidify the middle order a lot. So there's I don't mind having.
He would be great at number 6, like considering the problems they have. But then like they have other problems they don't.
So that means you don't play Gale and you also don't play Mujeeb, I guess.
I guess you could play Nair and Safraz and not play Puran, Nisham 6.
Yeah, I like Piran. But yeah, that's another option there.
Seekers, don't you reckon Nisham, Puran, and Maxwell are like the really similar molded player?
Well,
Do they
Nisham,
replace each other? Realistically, like I wouldn't substitute like a bowler for one of their positions.
I think Nisham's certainly the best bowling option there. Certainly better than Puran. And also better than Maxwell.
certainly better than the wicketkeeper batsman.
But you don't know. I mean, batting wise.
Are you suggesting there's an all-rounder in the coming here, Ryan? Nicholas Puran.
You never know. I mean, Wade. Well, when New Zealand came over here, Wade bowled faster than Southie, so anything's possible.
I think it's already confirmed that Rahul will keep, so that means Puran could bowl. Who knows? So,
do you think Rahul will actually keep?
Sorry, say again.
Do you think he will actually keep?
Yeah.
Or Puran? Okay.
I think there is a trend of Indian keeper captains.
He's probably doing it for the ODI spot anyway.
Well, it's not a bad spot to captain from, I'd argue, like from behind the stumps.
Sure.
In the game.
All right, where do we see them finishing?
I'll let you two go because I'll probably have a different opinion.
You will. I'm sure you will. So yeah, top order, good but inconsistent. Middle orders, pretty hopeless, and the bowling. Yes. So
you would just be your Puran, Maxwell, and Nisham, and you call them middle order hopeless.
Yeah, traditionally will always choke. There's only one team they're going to beat this year, and I think we all know who that is. So yeah, 7th.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same, 7th. They look very shaky.
Well, I think the last few years they get up to a flyer, and I think I'm having faith that they can keep up that form. Maxwell's massive for them. He's like this. He'll be like almost a star player, and I've got them coming 4th, just because I want them to. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it happening. Like I can see any team really finishing in the playoffs. Obviously, there's everyone's good enough to. But I see their season. Their season usually goes like their batting innings goes. They'll get off to a flyer, and then they'll lose wicket after wicket and game after game, and then they'll just sort of shrivel into nothing at the end.
Well, one thing I was going to say before we move on, I think the new coach, Anil Kumble, I think he'll help them out a lot. I think he's much better than who they had before, so I think that could bring a change as well as Rahul captaining. So I think that freshness will help them out.
Interestingly, Maxwell's now coming on to bowl for Australia. In case that impacts anyone's decision on the Punjab team.
If he bowls well, you don't need Mujib.
Well, exactly. You can play nation. So last team of the day, Kolkata Knight Riders. What do we think?
Obviously, they've got a lot of star players, a big team. So I think we'll probably have a very similar team. Opening the batting, I'll start. I've got the youngster Shubman Gill. I think he showed signs last year. I think probably kick on a bit better this time. And I think if he plays, I think he should open Sunil Narayan. He hasn't been consistent. I mean, you don't expect him to be because he's just a pinch hitter. But yeah, keep him opening.
Yeah. Narayan is the definition of a hack. I still have him in there. He's pretty inconsistent, but he's great when he's good. And yeah, Shubman Gill with him as well. The problem is the best opener in their side is probably Tom Banton, but it's much more useful to have these two in the side than it is to have Banton in the side opening. So you sort of got to go with Gill and Narayan here because you want that internationals from elsewhere because they're also good.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I'm actually Gill and Banton, so but that's just a personal preference.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very interested to see who you're going to drop.
That's very interesting. 3, 4, 5. I'll go. 3. He floated a bit last year, but I think they should keep him at 3. Nitish Rana. He's okay. He can bowl a bit. And then 4 and 5, Owen Morgan and Dinesh Karthik. I think very solid and explosive when they want to be.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I think Rana's a solid enough number 3. I think they'll probably want to keep him there, solidify that position for the future. And yeah, I had Karthik 4, Morgan 5, but I honestly could see it going either way. And so yeah.
So I've gone with Karthik, Russell, and then Rana. But Rana could like those three are very flexible, so I could see any of them playing in all three of those positions. I think I want Kartik at 3, just because he can kind of take control of the innings there, and he didn't face that many balls last year. He's a quality player, so I wouldn't mind him seeing at 3. I think Rana's a pinch hitter. Rana and Russell play a very similar role, but I think Russell's obviously a lot better.
That's interesting. I always think of Kartik as like a finisher though. Like just you like playing 15, 20 balls, like that works.
That's the only like sort of highlights you see, like the cameos he plays.
When he plays for India, it was like that's where it's sort of where he had to bat. I don't think that's necessarily where he's best.
True, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I think Nitish Rana's actually quite underrated. I like him as a batsman. And I think it's obviously sort of implied that Russell's just going to float here. He's the best T20 player in the world. And yeah, he could bat 3 if the openers have a good time, or we'll see.
That's probably why you probably want Narayan to open, if you think about it, because you won't waste that many balls at the top. He's either going to score like a really quick 50 or he's going to get out. So
if this team all fires, they can hit 250. Like they're just
certainly.
Harder.
It's almost like, oh, Narayan's playing so well, but I want him to get out so I can see Russell back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I'll go 6 and 7. Obviously, I have Russell. Number 7, probably their weakest spot in the team, because he doesn't really need to be a batter, doesn't need to be a bowler, so it's just the extra player. I've gone with Rinku Singh. They could go for other players. I don't know a lot about, but I think they played him last year, so that's what I've got.
I've gone for I got Russell in there. I don't know exactly where he'd really bat or just sort of depend. And also Rahul Tripathi, I think just in the times, because that's the kind of batting order that can definitely collapse, you probably want that extra. I think Tripathi's a solid enough batsman. He can come in at 7 and that's fine. He can still score fairly fast. He could also, bat 5 or 6 if the team's collapsing, and save Russell to the end.
Did Tripathi play for Rajasthan?
Yeah, I think so.
And that's the best thing about having, there's Narayans and Russells that can bowl, especially Narayan. Like, it means you can just bat a proper batsman at 7 and really solidify the batting lineup.
Yeah, you've got 8 overs there in the top 6, plus a keeper, which is amazing, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, I've gone with Tripathi as well, and then Narayan at 7. We all thought that was going to come anyway, so pretty expected.
I guess he did do that job last year a little bit.
There is one glaring addition from your batting lineup, Ryan. Do you really think Tom Banton offers more than Owen Morgan to Kolkata?
It's a very difficult decision. If you now thinking about it, considering the amount of firepower they have, you probably want Narayan at the top. But it's a personal preference with Banton.
I think when they picked Morgan, like whoever was going to pick Morgan in the auction, they want him to start. Like he's one of the informed players in white ball cricket right now, and a great captain. They'll help Kartik. And just another side thing I've heard people say this, because Brendan McCullum is their coach, obviously. Like you could argue he has like a similar sort of captaincy style to Morgan, so that they could gel really well together.
Yeah. Based on
It's an interesting one.
Very good coach, but we'll see how it goes.
At the Heat.
Yeah, they had such a good team and they were terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't play Banton then, like you did there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still see Banton playing a few games. Maybe, potentially. Hard to say.
Only at some point. I think he'll definitely have a good IPL career at some point. I don't know if he should start this season.
I mean, Kolkata are the heat of the IPL. He's built, in some ways, a very similar team, except with Andre Russell to support it. It's a similar style of teams, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can do better here than he could in the Big Bash.
Yeah.
So into the bowlers, I think this is quite difficult to get right. So the 2 spots I think are obvious. The Pat Cummins, we've all heard, record signing, like a huge amount of money. They have to play him as many games as possible. They're expecting a lot from him. I've even seen some people say they should have him at 7. I don't know. I don't think they should do that, but yeah. And then the other one, he had a poor last season, but I think he might do better. Kuldeep Yadav, the Chinaman. Obviously, we got to back the Chinaman, right?
Yeah.
And then the two Indian pacers, they have a lot of options. They're all like a bit average, I guess. I've gone with Shivan Mavi and Prasid Krishna. I don't know a lot about them, but I know Krishna played a lot, and I think Mavi's decent.
Yeah, I've also gone for Cummins and Kuldeep. I think that's just obvious. I think batting Cummins at 7 is a weird one for me because they don't have many strong bowlers, to be honest, and like I don't know who else do you want to play there? It's just putting in an extra weak bowler when you can already have a better batsman and just have Narayan bowl. Seems a bit strange to me. I've also gone for I think Prasid Krishna is certainly the standout of the rest of the bowlers. I think he's the most likely to play, definitely. I've gone for Sandeep Warrior at 11. But there's Nagakoti, Mavi. There's anyone could play.
There's been a lot of hype about Mavi and Nagakoti, but they've been injured recently. They played, I think, the 2019 World Cup, the one with Shaw and Sangha, that one.
Yeah, I think they'll all be pretty bad, and I think they'll all keep rotating.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same as well.
Okay.
So Kuldeep, Pat Cummins, Krishna, and Sandeep.
Yeah, looking at the other international options that we haven't mentioned, obviously there's Chris Green.
The
I don't think he'll play, but I think he's not a bad pickup. He'd probably.
thing is, like, if he's going to play, he's going to replace Narayan realistically, and I don't know how that's going to
You
play.
could argue their batting lineup is strong enough they could do that, but I don't think they will.
And it must feel pretty bad to be Chris Green in the side when there's 5 other internationals and Morgan, Cummins, Narayan, Banton, and Russell. Like, what are you meant to do there?
Well, how do you think these other two feel? Lockie Ferguson and Ali Khan, the first US player that picked in the IPL.
First US player to not play a game for the whole IPL season, yeah.
Yeah.
Ferguson may be a shout.
We're replacing Gurney, who I think there's no way he would play.
No, Gurney's not going to play.
Harry Gurney.
Yeah.
Star of the Renegades bowling lineup.
I can actually see Ferguson playing at some point over Narayan. Potentially. Who knows?
Yeah, I guess it's gone under the radar a bit how good he was in the World Cup. I don't think he's played much since then, really, for New Zealand.
That's so much to the side. You got to have Narayan there, surely. I mean, that means is Banton opening with Ferguson? Because that means you've got to drop another international, right? It was my maths wrong. I suppose you just still keep not playing Morgan.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yikes.
So, how do you guys think this stacked team will go?
I could say them coming first. I could say them coming last. But I do think they'll perform this year. I always overrate KKR. I always say that they're better than they do, but I have got them in second. I think they're going to have a good season.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same.
So have you two got every prediction the same?
Well, for teams, yeah.
That's actually crazy.
I think.
I'm pretty sure our number one will be the same as well.
So far off last year.
Our number one will be the same as well.
So
I think our number 8s will be different for sure, though.
I know who they're going to be.
Oh, yeah. Definitely not agenda.
I think we've both gone for the
Okay.
Interesting.
You guys will find out later. For KKR, I'm gonna say the team's like too good to be true. Like it just sounds really great, but I don't think they'll have the consistency that they need. And I think their bowlers let them down. Obviously, Kuldeep's okay, but he wasn't as good last year as we would have hoped, and the Indian pacers aren't good. I mean, just imagine that they're batting against their own bowling. I think that sort of treatment could happen. So I've got them in 6th.
That's fair.
I could easily see them coming the 6th last. Yeah, we'll discuss. They're always the biggest team that can finish anywhere. It'd be like that. That's normal. Yeah.
I guess we'll wrap it up here. We've obviously got part 2 coming. We'll also do a quick review of the one-day games, and then we'll see how things go. Keep you updated. Thanks, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Don't
See you.
forget to ring that bell. I had so much to